It's 50 days to a new decade. What were your best moments of this decade? Got to watch the Cubs win the World Series with my grandma, who went 86 years without seeing one. Probably no one is going to see this since it's so late, but I grew up in a very tough neighborhood as the poorest in the community as well. Got physically disabled at the age of 11 and the past decade has been incredibly difficult. I mean, I forced myself to go to school even though my grandmother couldn't afford a wheelchair, and going through puberty was the worst, especially being disabled in a community that's not educated about these things. But I turned things around after I finished high school. I got a scholarship to study at a local university. Got accepted to study astrophysics and became the first person to graduate in my family and my community as a whole. I am currently doing my master's in cosmology and got a job as a research scientist at IBM, and I am still 23. So it started as a tough decade, but it picked up and has allowed me to experience the best moments in life. I lost my grandmother, but I gained a family of friends in the process. This is a stuff of dreams. I literally wouldn't have imagined myself living this life. Well, I went from 8 to 18, so quite a big change. Met my boyfriend of almost 2 years and got with him. Made it even though Pawpaw died. Got myself into an early graduation program. Got a job. Overcame severe depression, it's only mild now. Drove a car. Met new, nice people at my new, nice school. Got a kitten cat named Foxy 3 years ago. Didn't die. Lost my virginity and self-respect. Gained 40 kilograms and a drinking problem. This was my third decade and I hate it so much. Good job. Keep it up. TLDR. Doesn't matter. Had sex. I beat depression's $1. Found love. And rode behind a steam engine for the first time. It sounds weird to say it, but getting LASIK surgery on both my eyes. Game changer. Probably one of the single best decisions of my life. My only regret is that I didn't do this a few years prior. I have 20/15 vision and don't have to dick around with dirty lenses or mess around with contacts to have it. Got over a guy the first thought I never will. This decade has been literally half of my life. I've developed from an uneducated, shy child with limited abilities to a ferociously confident adult who embraces the unique and seems to fly by academically. Turns out secondary school's environment isn't very nurturing to the individual. That few moments I didn't want to kill myself. Good times. Well damn, I remember 2010 starting as the year I finally was able to be social. Then in 2014 I left my home country, came here to Germany, and now have spent more than half of this decade here. And now at the turn of the next decade, I'm looking to go back. But the best moment, gotta be getting out of hospital after trying to kill myself multiple times. I remember after a phone call with my mum that I'd do everything to get myself together and manage my mental health. And now I'm working, and have some great opportunities ahead of me. I'm far from over it, never will be, but I can manage my mental health enough that I can consistently function and not want to die. And that took a hell of a lot of work, but thanks to the people in my life who stood by me, I made it. And I really owe them a lot. I met the love of my life. Do they know it yet? Leaving my ex and finding my wonderful wife. Surviving the end of the world, aka the 21st of December 2012. I finally went to therapy and got all the dark shit sorted so I can go into the new year with a new me. Isn't the new decade in 2021? Oh god, we're old now. The first time I paid off all my outgoing expenses for the month by writing fiction. It's what I wanted to do ever since I was a kid. And let me tell you, boys and girls, there's not a feeling in the world like it. It's been my full-time job for about 6 years now, and I'm grateful every day. I bought a house, got married, sold that house, moved into a new house and had a son. It has been a crazy decade for me and my family, but it has been amazing. This must be the worst decade in my life, and I'm only 24. I told my best friend of 5 years I had feelings in March. We will be closing out this year and entering the new one together. Living in Germany for 1 year. Unforgettable moments. I graduated. That's probably the thing I've been most proud of. I wasn't a great student at school. Had to cope with bullying and then on top of that try to master academia. Eventually, I found the thing that I genuinely enjoyed. Film making, and went to a college 2 years before university, so like the senior years of high school I guess. Where I got to study it and I finished with the highest grades that they had awarded. BTech gets a lot of bad press because it's maybe not as intellectually challenging as A levels, but I worked my ass off every day and left with great grades and went to a good university. I didn't get a great degree classification, but I got it and no one is taking that away from me. At university, some of my favorite and most vivid memories I have are of meeting my best friends for the first time. I lost contact with a lot of them. We don't talk as often as we'd like because we're both just trying to cope with growing up, but the people I am still close to are people that I can't imagine my life without. I love them to pieces. That time I was walking on a roof as a toddler. It was a 2-story house and apparently I told everyone the man helped me up there. Running. In 2010 I had just entered my 30s and my metabolism was slowing down. Read. I was starting to get fat. So I took up running. Since I have ran over 6,000 miles. This year I took it to the next level. Ran my first marathon, and then 3 ultra marathons, finishing with a 50-miler just last weekend. I'm now 41 and in the best shape of my life. Got married and had 2 kids. I won't lie. It's been hard work and I've hated more days than I'd like to admit, but I would not change a thing. I love my husband and we've got 2 awesome kids. Met President Obama. We shook hands and he said my name. Did he tell you his last name? Please share it with us. Got a really good haircut. Married my best friend. Had a kid. Bought a house. Got 2 college degrees. Went from retail jobs to a software engineering career. The 2010s were a good decade for me. Damn, so many. 2011 I started dating my wife. Graduated high school. Toured Europe with a national honors choir. And started college. 2012 I spent an awesome month traveling in Southern Africa. 2015 I got engaged. 2016 I graduated college and got married. 2017 I fulfilled a long-time dream of moving to Colorado. Oh man, it was so great. I moved out and also completed college. I could go on and on, but nobody ever reads beyond 2 paragraphs anyway. Especially not when you only write the one. Man, I'm 24. Like, all important stuff of my life happened in this decade. First girlfriend. College. Graduated college. First job. Too many to choose from really. Came out. Kissed a girl. And I liked it. Avengers through Avengers Endgame. I'm sure this will be buried, but I escaped the cult I grew up in. That was also responsible for some of the worst moments of this decade, since my immediate family cut contact with me because they're still in the cult. But the day I left was the first time I ever felt truly free and happy. Sometimes I'm still in disbelief and occasionally a little overwhelmed by how free I am. Even though it's been 7 years, I gave myself the chance to actually live my life and I wouldn't give it up for anything. Got married. Gonna be hard to top that for me. The day I asked my crush of last 8 years, with whom I had planned my whole life without even telling her, and she said no. Finally, my child, you are free. Met my future wife 2012. Birth of my daughter 2017. Bought a home 2019. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself 2019. Holy cow, I remember that day when Epstein didn't kill himself. Graduated high school. Got out of that toxic relationship before marrying that psycho. Moved out of parents' home. Beat suicidal depression. Graduated college with an engineering degree. Met a girl and got engaged. Got married. Got the wife pregnant, kid won't be here till 2020. Rented first apartment. Bought first house. Got first career job. Been a doozy of a decade. Probably overcoming my fear of wild animals. I used to jump at the sound of a coyote, now I photograph wild rattlesnakes in their natural habitats. Graduated high school. Moved across country by myself. Got married. Moved 3 more times. Watched my mom leave her verbally abusive and lazy husband and marry a much nicer man who has much more in common with her. It's been a great decade and I can't wait to see what the next one brings. I only recently found out what loving someone feels like and what being loved feels like too. Getting married, adopting a dog, buying a house. That time I got 2 onion rings in my French fries. Meeting my fiancé at karaoke night by going up to the bloke looking through the songbook and asking if there were any musicals in there. Then asking said stranger to sing a duet with me. He hasn't got rid of me since. Maybe meeting new persons like my best friend. I was 5 years old in 2010. I really don't have much achieved, but I'm grateful for what I have. Playing Minecraft in 2018 and building a peaceful house and taming a wolf and a shulker. Carving out a new life for myself after my husband's death in 2014. I sold our house and bought my own and started working at the age of 56 after having been a stay-at-home mum for most of our 32-year marriage. Saying f*** it and quitting my entry-level job I got right out of college. Moved to South America. Taught English. Then a few years in Southeast Asia. My life would never be the same. Meeting my wife. My previous relationship finally ended in the beginning of 10 and I met my now wife in December of that year. I still enjoy her company every single day, and she was easily the best thing to happen in the 10s. The 11th of November 11 at 11 hours 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Meeting a band of friends that has lasted from high school to college. It's honestly amazing having them around after all this time. Finding a job that I don't dread going to in the morning. Getting out of my shell a little more. Met my first girlfriend at 26. And I lucked out that she is pretty, kind, intelligent, funny, witty, and likes making me happy. Anytime I had ice cream. This guy right here is living life. Outrunning the clowns in 2016. I remember someone somewhere saying something along the lines of I can't believe that in 2016, it's completely relevant to say, have fun catching Pokemon, but watch out for clowns. That summer was a magical one. Best moment. Stop drinking. Worst moment. Stop drinking. Reaching the end of my 6-month chemo treatment last December, I had expected to feel beaten down and done by the end. Instead I felt better than I had in years. Still haven't felt as good as I did in that all too brief period. But now I guess life has a bit more purpose. I don't feel as directionless as I did before. Got out of a long relationship. Found myself. Started going back to school. And just today my barista asked me out. Bro, I'm so hyped because I totally was crushing on her. Oh, also, I am cancer free, but this girl is probably the highlight. Took myself to emergency services rather than driving my car into a tree like I wanted. Sounds depressing, but I'm super proud that I asked for help. A year later I joined a roller derby league. I'm fighting through it all. Damn. Time flew. It feels like yesterday that we entered the decade. Welp, that's a chunk of my life gone. I can remember 2010 so clearly. I turned 10 that year. Just discovered the internet and life was good. Time really goes by. Bret Hart returning to WWE in January 2010. Toy Story 3. The discovery of Richard III's skeleton. Agent Dale Cooper. The end of Rogue One. I met the love of my life as of this moment. My mom got married. I finally have a father figure. Lost my virginity. Got my first job. I have stable mental health again. I'm getting back into shape again. I met the actual Santa. Like literally in the middle of the night on Christmas. I woke up needing to go to the bathroom and he was putting presents under the tree. He didn't see me though. Stalker 101. 2020 is about to be a good new decade of a year. Best wishes. I think someone burgled your house. Asking my boss's boss out on a date. She turned out to have a boyfriend. But I'm still proud that I had the balls to do it. Yeah, Alex, I'll have things I'd never do in fear of losing my job for 500. Graduated college. Found out I hate working full time. Moved back to my parents. Moved to Wrigleyville and watched the Cubs win. Got over a long crush. Met a wonderful woman I am asking to marry me on Black Friday and finally found a job I love. Lost my V-card. Dang, I hope you find it. I jerked off 3 times in 1 hour. The fastest hand in the West. Completed the NYC, Chicago, and Berlin Marathon. Accepted into Boston University for my MS Sys database development concentration. Bought a house and adopted a German Shepherd. Generally experiencing the growth in art and technology. It's been an overall great decade. Just hope the next decade will be just as good. When everyone was outside playing Pokemon Go back in 2016. Good times. I transitioned from a child to a teenager to an adult. 99. Discovering Reddit. Op asked for best moments. Not the moment that made you lose all connection to the real world. Finally kicking my opiate addiction's ass. Watching the evolution of memes for 7 years. We have really come far, and Epstein didn't kill himself. Moved across the country. Found a massive new friend group and kept in touch with my old one. Got a great job. Started a meetup group that's about to pass 5K members. And married my best friend. It's been a pretty fantastic last few years. Gonna start the next decade off by buying a house and starting a small business. First NNN I have ever failed. I grew up always wanting a dog. Can't say I've grown up in a mature sense. But I got a dog. Graduating the fringe hell that was high school, just to be put in the next fringe hell known as college. I had a kid, bought a house and completely turned my life upside down and right side up again. But just like with snow globes, that's the only way to keep it interesting.